Good morning, guys. I want to welcome you to this Confident Code Masterclass. Thank you so much for joining. And who want to be more confident? Who want to be more confident? You want to be more confident, right? That's why you're here. And it's confidence is very important to achieve any goal. Maybe you want to start your dream business. Maybe you want to attract your dream partner. Maybe you want to get a promotion in your business, in your job, right? Without confidence, you cannot achieve your goals. So that's one thing that I learned, right? For example, now like you are here listening to AM music, right? And you have a big goal. You want to listen to FM music, right? But if you really want to listen to FM music, what should you do? You got to change your frequency, right? You got to change your frequency. And the frequency, when it comes to the radio, it's so simple. You just change the channel, right? But when it comes to your life, you need to change the channel by being more confident, right? So how do you change this frequency when it comes to your life? You just have to change uh, your confidence. And everything, right? If you're here right now, I just want to tell you that everything happened for a reason, right? Everything happened for a reason. And I remember I sat down the same training with my mentor like 3 years ago. Everything started to change in my life. And some of the things that we don't know why it's happening, right? For example, you didn't choose your parents. You didn't choose where you were born, where you will not choose your children, right? It happened for a reason. And same, if you are here listening to this webinar, it happened for a reason, right? So take it so seriously. And it happened for a reason, right? This could be your life-changing message because this message can come through someone else. Maybe the message is coming through me to you today. For me, that message came through my mentor, Bob Proctor, right? I changed my life by myself, but I got the guidance from him, right? So this is what I'm going to talk about today. This topic, the most valuable topic I ever learned in my life, entire life, right? So let me know. I'm really curious. If maybe you're watching live, maybe watching the replay, where you coming from? Put it in the chat box. Where you coming from? And why are you here? Which goal you want to achieve? You want to start your dream business or you want to attract your partner or do you already have a business? You want to double your income? Or maybe you have a beautiful job. You want to get a promotion, right? Everything, right? Whatever you want to achieve in your life, you need to have more confidence, guys. Okay. And today, first of all, I want to introduce myself a little bit, not to brag, but you should know. I'm from Australia. Okay. Niroshan say I'm from Australia. Uh, nice to connect with you, Niroshan. You're searching for a job, right? This training gonna help you, right? You're searching for a job right now. You don't have a job right now, but you're searching for a job. And if you apply this principle today, if you do the exercise I give at the end, you might find that job within 90 days, right? Maybe not overnight, but within 90 days, right? So thank you for letting me know. You could come in from Australia. Great. And yeah, this is the lesson that I got, right? I just want to let you introduce myself a little bit. And my name is Sam Gamage. I'm a mindset coach. I help migrants like you, people living in an overseas country, to be more confident and achieve your goal using a program created by my mentor Bob Proctor, right? But I wasn't always like this, right? I migrated to Australia in 2005. And then I worked hard. I did everything that I had to do to get my permanent visa. That was my goal. I achieved that goal. Then I got my visa by 2011. Right? Then after that, I was on comfort zone. I had accounting degree, but I didn't even apply for a accounting job, right? Because I wasn't confident, right? I was thinking, why the hell I did do that? I had an accounting degree. And but instead I was working in cleaning job, bartending job, driving Uber. When I was telling people that I have accounting degree, they're kind of, what the hell are you doing here? If you have accounting degree, go and get an accounting job, right? But they didn't understand that, right? And even I didn't understand why I was doing that. But when I met my mentor, when I was going through his program, I realized why I was doing that, right? So I was working as a bartender and Uber driver when I got this information, and working long hours, right? Because I had to work long hours because I could get paid only $25 an hour when I was working in a bar and working as Uber driver, right? I had to work long hours. I was so busy. I didn't have time to spend with my child. I was busy in the weekend, in the Christmas, in the Easter, like in all these precious times. And I wasn't happy, right? Because I was doing something that I didn't want to do. I was doing that to just to pay my bill, right? Because I was a dad. I had two kids by then. Now I have four. And I was just doing that because to pay the bills, right? But I knew I could have more, I could do more, and can become a better person, right? But I didn't know why I was stuck. But one day I was working in the uh, hotel, working as a barman. Then all of a sudden, accident happened. Like one guy came with a knife and a baseball bat, and he just robbed me. This guy robbed me. And that night I was thinking, oh my God, what if I keep doing the same thing for next 10 years? Will I achieve the freedom? The answer was no. What if I keep doing this job for next 10 years? Will I create a compelling future for my kids? The answer was no. And will I do what I love doing? The answer was no, because I was always broke. I was working long hours. I wasn't happy. I was doing something that I didn't love doing. Then I thought enough is enough. Then I was just going through the same masterclass that I'm doing to you guys, right? Then I made a committed decision. Now I want to totally change my life. Then I got into his program and I was questioning, why did I do what I did, right? Why having an accounting degree, I chose to be a Uber driver and bartender, right? I know some of you struggling to find a job. I know some of you have a job but struggling to get a promotion. I know some of you want to start your dream business. You think enough is enough now. I want to quit my 9 to 5. I want to start my dream business, right? I know some of you already have a business and you want to double the income in your business, right? But something is holding you back. Something is not letting you find that job. Something is not letting you get that promotion or start the business or move forward in your business and double your income, right? So why this is happening? So this is the topic today, right? It's because of your self-image. It's something called self-image, guys, okay? So what you think about yourself. Then I found out after going through with the program with my mentor, Bob Proctor, oh, it was my self-image holding me back, because I had this story inside of my head saying, I am not good enough here in Australia. I'm from a different background. I have a different skin color. And I have language barriers. No one can understand me. It's only for white people, not for me. Right? And I carried that story, and since I had the uh, accounting degree, right? I remember I was working as a cleaner, I wasn't confident enough to talk to the people in the office. If someone was still working in the office, I would never go to that person because I wasn't confident to talk to that person. Right? And when I was driving Uber, I couldn't talk to my passenger unless they talked to me. I would never ever start a conversation because I thought I'm not good enough. I was scared if I make a mistake. I was scared if they will understand my language, my English, right? But when I found out, the reason was my internal dialogue going in my head, right? And I want you to think about your internal dialogue. What's going on? I know you have a goal. You said, Niroshan, you need to find your job. I know some of you, a lot of people not listening live right now, but you looking for the replay. You say you want to get a job promotion. Some of you said you want to start your dream business. But it's not happening now, right? But what now I want to think about what inner story going in your head right now. What's happening in your head right now, right? So maybe you're thinking like I'm not good enough. Maybe you're thinking I'm from a different background. I have language barriers. Maybe you have some beliefs saying, "Oh, it's only for the white people, not for me." Right? So I want you to think about internal story. As long as you have this internal story, it's not going to get the results you want to have in your life, right? So let's say, for example, you are looking for a job promotion, and if your internal story saying, I'm not good enough here. If I have to get a promotion, I have to lead the team, or maybe they will not understand my English, maybe they will uh, reject me, right? I want you to think about your internal story. Your internal story should match your goal. Otherwise, nothing gonna happen, guys. But when you match your internal story to your goal, your life change, right? So after applying this principle in my life, I had multiple breakthroughs in my life. First of all, I was telling everyone, like, I want to start my dream business. I want to become a coach. I want to do other businesses, but never started for 10 years. Right? I told everyone, no, no, I'll never work for someone else. But I never started business. Instead, I was working for someone else for 10 years and I didn't even get a job in my field. Instead, I was doing different jobs. Right? After going through this, after changing my story, internal dialogue, I started my coaching business in 3 months. And I got my first 5 clients within next 3 months, guys. Right? And I improved my confidence, I think 10x. Before I couldn't even talk to my passenger when I was driving Uber. But now I can go on a stage and speak to hundreds of people. Like I did a speech, maybe a couple of hundred people last year, and I competed in a competition. I became the number one speaker in Norway in Toastmasters World. I could only imagine about that. But it happened after working on my internal story. Right? And I was going back in my life and I was thinking in situation where I was winning, right? For example, I attracted my dream partner. That happened a long time ago before I got into this information, but I used this information on an unconscious level. I used it unconsciously, right? I used it unconsciously. And same thing, I wanted to find out how did I get a visa to come to Australia? I didn't even have money. I didn't know English. I didn't know any people in Australia. But I achieved that goal long time ago. Again, I was going through this concept on an unconscious level. Maybe you achieved something great in your life. Why did you achieve that? Because you were going through this concept on an unconscious level, right? So, what is this concept, guys? We call it identity shift. We call it as creating a new self-image. We call it improving your confidence, right? I might use any of this word during this webinar. Don't get confused. I might use the word identity, self-image, or the confidence, right? So I want to break it down right now. So what is the self-image? The self-image is the concept that what do you think about yourself? If you put it into a very simple term, what do you think about yourself right now? Do you think I'm good enough? What do you think about yourself? Do you think I'm good enough? Do you think I am confident? Do you think I'm a great leader? Or do you have a negative story in your head saying, I'm not good enough? I'm not worthy. I have different language barriers. I have uh, whatever, right? I wanted to only you know what's going inside of your head, but most of the time it's unconscious unless you pay your attention, right? Think about what's going inside of your head right now. So this is called the concept of yourself, your self-image. And this self-image controls everything in your life. It controls your confidence. It controls your income. It controls who you attract in your life. It controls your health, your relationships, everything, guys. For example, let's say if you think you're not good enough, if you have that negative story for a different reason, maybe because of your English barriers, maybe because of your skin color, your background, right? If you think you're not good enough because of these reasons or some other reasons, do you think you're going to take action? You're not, right? For example, let's say you already have a job. You want to apply for a job promotion. But if your story is saying I'm not good enough, guess what? You're not going to get the job. You're not going to apply for the job. Most of the people, they don't even apply for the job. Some people, they apply, they get rejection, right? Some people get the job in a short period of time, they lose the job, right? You got to match your internal story. And let's say you're a business owner, right? If you're a business owner, if you think I'm not good enough for some reason, right? You're not gonna take action. For example, now like you need to do different things. If you have a business, right, you need to create social media content, you need to reach out to people, you need to uh, sell your product and services to other people. You gotta take massive actions, guys. But if you think I'm not good enough, you're not gonna move into the action and do the things you have to do, right? So this concept, your concept of yourself, affecting all areas of your life, your income, your confidence, your relationships, your health, right? So, but when you learn to change the concept of yourself, everything change, right? If you are someone looking for a job like Niroshan, you start to look for a job and get the job. And if you already have a job and you want to get the promotion, you get the promotion. And if you want to start your dream business and you want to start your dream business, you start the dream business, right? And if you already have a business and you want to double income in your business, you're going to do that too, right? First, you need to start with the internal dialogue. I want you to be honest, right? When I said I want to start a business in 2020, I think, or 2019, my inner story was saying, I am not good enough. Who's gonna listen to me? I'm scared to make videos on social media. What if other people will think about me? Guess what? With that story, I could not move forward. I tried to move forward, but it didn't last long. right? But when I started working on my internal story, then magic happened. I had multiple breakthroughs, like I said before, guys, right? So this internal story, this concept of yourself, changing all areas of your life. But if you really want to change your life results, you need to change your concept of yourself. That's where you should begin, guys. Right? This self, the concept of yourself is like a cybernetic mechanism. Let me explain it in a really simple way. I want you to think about your income. Right? Last 3 years. All right. Maybe you've been earning the same amount of money in last 3 years. Let's say, for example, someone is earning $10,000 a month. In some months, they get a bonus or they get something, earn $12,000, right? But their mind find out a way to come back to that 10,000 level. Something happened, the car break down, someone asked for the money. Something happened, right? They go back to that 10,000 level. Or they have a massive shopping trip, something happened. They go back to that $10,000, right? And some other occasions, what happened? They lose the job or they lose their part-time job. Something happened, they'll drop the income to $6,000, right? Then all of a sudden they get this panic attack and find another way, find another job. Guess what? They get back into that $10,000 limit. But they're always on this 10,000 limit income, right? Maybe you've been experiencing that. But if you look back into your income and think about how much I've been earning every month in the last 3 years, in most cases, it is the same amount, right? It's the same amount, maybe like 10% increase every year. So it's just like air conditioner. Just imagine you have the air conditioner at home. It's set to 25 degrees, right? And someone opened the door in the winter. The cold air comes in. What happens then? The heater kicks in. The air conditioner is getting back to 25 degrees, right? Pretty simple. And same again, if you open the door in the summer, it's the opposite, right? Then all of a sudden the warm air comes in and the room temperature go up to 30 degrees. Then the cooler kicks in, bringing back to 25 degree, right? But if you really want to change the temperature on a permanent level, what should you do? It's pretty simple, right? You just get the remote control and set it up to 30 or set it up to 20, whatever the temperature you want. Same with you. Now you are here right now, but if you want to go there, you just need to change your frequency, right? Just like the air condition. How are you going to do that? When it comes to the air conditioner, it's pretty simple. You just press the button. But this one, you got to do it in your mind. You do it by creating a new concept of yourself, creating a new self-image, creating a new identity, guys, right? You got to change your internal story and into a positive story. When you do that, you're changing your frequency, bam, then you have a permanent change. Right? If you take another example, maybe you see a lot of people trying to lose weight, going to the gym. They buy the gym card, hire a personal trainer. Right? They do everything, but within 2 weeks they stay home. Keep paying for the gym membership, right? Why is that? Again, same thing. They're trying to lose weight without fixing their internal story, without fixing their identity. They stay in the same level. They lose 10 kilos, boom. Again, they start eating sugar. get back to that level. Then all of a sudden they gain a lot of weight again, 120 kilos. Guess what? Now they get into this panic attack, going to the gym again, hiring the personal trainer, back to 100 kilo level. But they never change that weight on a permanent basis. Maybe you're going through this situation right now, right? Maybe you're stuck in the same job, right? Maybe you're not employed, right? Maybe you have a business, but you're stuck in the same level of income, right? Maybe you want to have a promotion, but job promotion, but it's not happening because you don't believe in yourself. But if you need to get your outcome, right? Let's say, for example, if you need to get your job promotion, you need to change your frequency. You need to become a different version of yourself, right? So now let's think about who formed your internal story, right? You might be wondering who formed my internal story. This is a very powerful thing. Your internal story controls everything you understand right now. It controls your income, controls your health, controls your attraction, control your confidence. But who created this story inside of your head? Most of the time it was created by someone else, guys, right? Most of the time it's crazy. And some of the stories was created by you from your own imagination. But most of the time, someone else it's installed this story in your head. And most of the time it was installed by your parents and your early childhood teachers. Right? And if you're a migrant living in another country, most of the time it was installed by the people who met when you first came to Australia or to UK or something, right? For example, when I first came to Australia, I was so excited to study university degree, right? But people I met the first time I came to Australia, they said, you can get a degree. You can get a master's degree, but there's no way you're going to get a job. But it's not for us. It's only for white people, right? Our English is not good. We have language barriers and our skin color doesn't match. They were telling me that. And I started believing that. And they said, like, you have to do it to get your permanent visa. There's no other option. But they forget about getting a job, right? I believed in that. So they formed my internal story. Right? I let them form. It's not their fault. They were trying to help me. They're beautiful people, still my friends. But believed in that story. So it became a belief. That's why I didn't even apply for a job, right? Maybe you are in a level you need to get a promotion. You're lucky. You've been lucky. You got a job in the your field of study, but you want to get a promotion. Same story controlling you. I don't know who formed this story. Maybe it's you. Maybe someone else. I'm not good enough. That's why I'm not getting the job. I'm not good enough because of different reasons. Maybe some of you might think because of my skin color, because of my background, because of my language barriers. None of them are true, right? It's your own mental story. And some people, I remember I talked to one of my friends from Melbourne a couple of weeks ago. And I was talking to him and he got a good job. He's a manager and he want to become area manager. And he believed I want to get a master's degree. And he got a master's degree and he spent $50,000 getting the master's degree. And he went on Hex or Sax or something like that, like government pays that, go on a long-term loan. Guess what? It didn't help him to get the job. A lot of people misunderstand that because he got an internal story going inside of himself. I'm not good enough to be area manager because I'm from a different background. That's what his belief. I said, you need to change your belief. Don't spend $50,000 getting another master's degree. You're not gonna get that. You're not gonna get the promotion. Right? But he doesn't believe in this stuff. Like he's one of my friends. Usually I'm not trying to coach my friends. Right? So that's why you gotta understand. Your internal story controls everything. If you really want to get that job, you need to become a different version of yourself. First, you have to start with your internal story. So, who formed the story? It could be your parents, maybe your parents. When I was growing up, my parents always comparing myself to other kids. They're saying, like, you're not good enough. Look at their results. Their results are incredible. We spend a lot of money on you, but you're not good enough, right? And actually, I used to believe that. If my parents say I'm not good enough, adults saying I'm not good enough, they are the people who loved me so much. I have to believe in that, right? And it happened in my parenting too. I remember when my daughter was growing up, I'm telling her, you are slow, you are too slow because she's eating very slow. I'm telling you, you are slow, come on. The more I said that she was slow, she was getting slower and slower and slower. She's still slow. I take the responsibility for that. But I didn't have this information by then, right? And she's still slow because I told she's slow, you are slow, you are slow. Then she started to believe she's slow, she's still slow. I should have done it in a different way, but I didn't have the tools by then, right? It's so important as a parent what you say to your children. And then after that, like after a couple of years, another thing happened. She was drawing something, and it didn't look like a really good picture. My, I was going to say, what is this? You can do much better, right? Then I shipped my mouth. I said, wow, this is a beautiful artwork. You can be the next Picasso, right? You can be the next Picasso. You can make millions of dollars doing this artwork. Then she was like inspired. Every time she draws something, now she's coming to me and showing me because she knows I'm telling this is amazing, right? And she sold her first artwork for $200 when she was 4 years old, right? But if I said maybe she'll be one of the best artists in the world, that's what I want her to be. She's going to 2 art classes right now, right? Because I'm helping to form her story right now. You are good enough. You can be the next Picasso. You can make millions of dollars, and you can change the world. You can build a like art school in a poor country or something. She's so excited for that right now, and she sold few artworks so far, right? She earned her first dollar when she was 4 years old, and it took me like 25 years to earn my first dollar, right? So be careful if you have children. You need to form a good story in their head, right? If someone is changing their story negatively, you got to be very careful who they're hanging around with, right? So our parents, it's because not because they didn't love us. Every parent loved their children, but they didn't have the awareness of parenting. I didn't have either at the beginning, but now I'm raising my conscious awareness about the parenting, right? Because I want to become a great dad. That's one of my biggest goals, right? But if I didn't learn this concept, I would have said, hey, what is this? This is bullshit. This doesn't look like a really good artwork. She might not even draw artwork again, right? I can kill her creativity. And one day, like she was drawing artwork in front of our wall, in front of the entrance, right? Near the entrance, there's a big wall. She was drawing this picture, and a big picture, right? And mother wasn't happy because it's the entrance of your house, right? But I said, shh, don't say anything. We can paint it out. It costs only $50. Bring a paint can and just repaint it. Then instead of like blaming her, like we were saying, wow, this is amazing, wonderful. And people who were coming to the home, they were telling the same thing. Wow, this is incredible. Now she's very confident of her artwork, right? Because I'm forming the story in her head. You're good enough. You're good enough. You're good enough, right? This is so important, guys. So who was forming your internal story? It can be your parent. It could be your teachers. Maybe one of your rude bosses. I remember I was working in a hotel and I couldn't make a coffee. Then this lady comes and says, "What the hell, Sam? You can't even make a coffee. Why? How the hell you got this job?" And I felt right, really intimidated in front of a lot of people in a gaming room, right? I was like, oh my God, I was feeling so bad. I felt so unworthy. I didn't want to work in that place. Right? Maybe some of your friends said you are not beautiful, you are ugly, right? Maybe some say you're not good enough, you can't do this. Who the hell you think you are? And you believed in that. Then you doubts came in. Yeah, that's true, right? And this is great. Someone else formed your story in your head, and that story is getting the results you're gonna get right now. But if you don't let them form the story, guys, you can win big. I remember when I start trying to start my uh, online businesses, I had to create content, make videos on social media. My friends were trying to take me down, said, "You are too old to do this, Sam. You are nearly 40 now. It's for 18-year-old. And it's good for someone, a good-looking guy like Jay Shetty or something, not for you, Sam." Right? What if I listen to them? Would I do this webinar to you guys? Right? Always someone is trying to take you down, trying to build a new story in your head, right? But you can't let it happen, guys. Right? If you let it happen, guess what? You're not gonna get your job promotion. You're not gonna find your new job. You're not gonna start your dream business. You're not gonna live your dreams. I don't know what your dreams are, right? So this story is so powerful, and it was created by someone else. But if you want to get the results you want in your life, you need to match your new story to the results you want in your life, right? So I'll tell you my example. So I wanted to start my coaching business. I wanted to become a coach, change lives, become a speaker, speak on stages. But I realized, oh, this is my goal, but I have a really shit story going in my head. When I was working with the coach and working with this program, I realized, oh my gosh, I'm not good enough because uh, I have English barriers. I'm not good enough because I have a brown skin color. I'm not good enough because I'm too old. I have gray hair. I'm not good enough because I don't have any experience in this field. I'm not good enough. I don't know about text and computer skills. Nothing. So many negative stories, guys, and it didn't let me move forward. Right? It didn't let me make a video because when I had to make my first video, I remember I was planning to start a Instagram channel with my family, traveling around Australia and making videos. But guess what? I took my phone. I was shaking. I was so scared. Like, what other people will think about me? What comment they will drop here? What if I make mistake? I wanted to do it in English. What if I make a lot of mistakes? What if someone criticizes me? What if they don't understand me? I bought the cameras, I bought all this fancy stuff, I even bought a new laptop. I didn't move into action. The reason was my internal story. I am not good enough by then, right? So if story is not giving you the results, you got to change the story. There's no other way, guys, right? And I want you to think about you. If you, it's not what you want in your life, it's who you become. You don't get what you want, you get who you are. Who you are is your story, right? Then I started changing my story. I have an exotic skin, right? It's beautiful exotic skin. I am I'm not old, I am wiser right now. I don't have English accent, but I have a very wonderful accent. I used to think that I have a strange accent, but I think like I have a very unique accent. Right? I started changing my story. And I don't care what other people will think about my post. I just focus on the value that I give to my people. I put a post on a Sri Lankan group like last week. People started commenting, oh, this is a scam. This is a big scam in the market. Now, a lot of like people keep going on that. Right? I don't give my focus onto that. It's what they think about it. My intention is to give someone some value, right? So, but before I would have been like, I would have stopped this webinar, like when I saw this comment. But now I see it, okay, it's interesting. I'm doing something great. That's why I got the criticism, right? So you need to change this story. So I started change my story. Everything happened. I started my business in 3 months. I never started for 10 years. I started becoming a speaker, started speaking on stages. I started attracting different mentors, different friends from other parts of the world. Everything changed. When you change your frequency, guys, you change your life, right? When you change your story, what happened? You start thinking differently. So I start to think differently. I am unique. I have a unique accent. I have exotic skin. I'm here to make an impact, right? I started changing this script of myself. Then I started to think differently. I started to feel differently. Then I moved into action, right? That's why I'm doing this webinar today. I moved into action, do a webinar, right? But if I had those negative stories about myself, what if you understand me, what blah blah blah, right? I wouldn't do this like this. I might even not do it, right? So this is what I want you to understand. If you want to change your life results right now, I don't know what you want. Niroshan said, I want a job, right? And some of you said, I want a job promotion. Some of you said, I've been single for a while. I want to attract my dream partner, right? Some of you said, I have a business. I want to get more customers in my business. So you just have to start with your story. When you change your story, you change your thinking, your feeling, action, and you change your frequency. This is the key to law of attraction. I don't know if you understand law of attraction. A lot of people got scammed by law of attraction because they were listening to the YouTube videos, reading books like Secret, and do meditations, affirmations, all these things, thinking they become a millionaire overnight, right? But the key is, if you need to get what you want, they're very important. Write in the goal, do the affirmations, visualization, so important. The key is you got to become a different version of yourself. Right? Let's say you're doing a job right now, but you want to become the CEO of the company, right? And get paid 3 times more. You can't get that job with your current version of yourself. You need to change your story, right? I am in saying I'm not good enough. You got to say I'm good enough. I'm learning and growing. I'm a leader. I'm creative. I am brave. So you got to build a new script of a CEO if you want to get that job, right? You will never do it with your current version of yourself, right? Maybe some of you might think, I want to start my dream business and become a millionaire. Maybe that's one of your dreams. But if you're doing a 9 to 5 job, with that version, it's never ever going to happen, right? You got to create a new version of yourself, version of an of business owner, right? Because if you go to 9 to 5 job, it's like you work for someone, you just do something and it's guaranteed you get paid. But if you're a business owner, it's a very different story. You got to be a leader, you got to be a creative, you got to be a good marketer, good salesman, communicator. You got to become a different version of yourself, right? For example, when I wanted to become a coach, I had to become a different version of myself. And I'm upgrading this version every single day. Right? I was working as an Uber driver, working as a bartender. I was going to work doing the same thing. I never lead anything. I wasn't a leader at all. Right? I was getting paid only $25 an hour. I didn't decide things. My managers decided when I was going to work. Right? But I had to become a different version of myself. Version of a coach who show up, create social media videos, inspire people, do webinars, do 5-day trainings, who goes on speak on the stage. So I start becoming a different version of myself. But if I choose to stay as an Uber driver or a bartender with that version, I can't do this today, guys. Right? You got to make a decision to change the version of yourself. Right? If you don't have a job, if you want to get job, Niroshan, or if you're looking for a job, I don't know, I didn't actually read your comment, sorry. Uh, I'll give you opportunity at the end. If someone don't have a job and looking for a job, guess what? You got to become a different version of yourself. You got to be qualified. Like I was thinking, like, how did I get my permanent visa to Australia? Because I became a different version of myself. They needed the accounting qualification. I did the accounting degree. I got the education. They needed certain level of English. I passed that English test. They wanted me to study about Australian culture. I had to do a test, right? I became a different version of myself. Over the time in Australia, I changed my habit, put the things in the rubbish bin, not when you're driving, you got to be disciplined. I was learning a lot of things. I became a different version of myself to get that visa, guys. Permanent visa, right? Even to get the visa to come to Australia, I had to become a different version of myself, had to learn English, had to meet all these criteria. Simple. It's crazy. Every time you achieved the goal, you were changing your internal story. You were becoming a different version of yourself. Right? Now you got to do the same. But you can do it consciously if you have these tools. In the past, you did it unconsciously. Right? I remember I'm going to Sri Lanka after 5 years staying in Australia. I became a different version of myself. By then, I was a cleaner and I was dead broke. I went to do the IELTS. I used my credit card to take the tickets and for my trip, but I was taking a lot of gift, a lot of chocolates, a lot of perfumes and watches. I spent like $5,000 on gift, still use my credit card. But I became a different version of myself. I bought new clothes, like I didn't tell people I'm working as a cleaner. I said I was lying to people. I'm, working at, some, office or something like that. I never told people I was working as a cleaner. But I became a different version of myself and hired a car, rented the car, right? Then people in Sri Lanka thought, oh my God, this guy has a money tree in the back of his garden. And they were treating me differently. When you become a different version of yourself, people treat you differently. That's unbelievable, guys. Then people opened their best dinner table to me, even my parents, right? But just and a couple of people, they gave me business opportunities. Hey, we have business opportunities. Do you want to join? I was like, okay. I didn't actually join, but they offered me business opportunity because I became a different version of, because I was in a different vibration, right? With the perfume on, nice haircut, dressed up, walking differently, driving this rented car. I became a different version of myself for a couple of weeks. Then people treated me differently, guys, right? This is crazy. And because I'm telling you stories, because stories are so powerful. And I'll tell you one more story. I love telling story. I was working when I was studying these materials. I was working in the bar after the accident. After I was going through the accident. I was only working during the daytimes, and I wanted to apply this information in my workplace to see if I can get a job promotion, right? So I want to test it out. If this information really work. I was working as just a bar gaming attendant, like just pouring beers and doing certain things. And I thought maybe I want to try this out. Right? Guess what happened? I started becoming a different version of myself. I started dressing like a manager, right? I had nice shirt, I bought a new shirt, new shoes, clean clothes, nice haircut, and I put my badge on and got the keys hanging down. And I started walking differently, treating customers differently, gave them more beautiful tea and coffee because you get free coffee when you play gaming in Australia, right? I talked to them nicely, and they thought I'm the manager. The manager was next to me, people complaining about things to me. Hey, are you the manager? Because they thought I'm the manager because I became a different version of myself. And within 2 weeks, the venue manager came and said, Sam, I can see you doing a fantastic job here. You're keeping cleaning happy. Your customers told me you're treating them really well. The gaming manager is leaving. You can apply for the job. I got the job promotion, but I didn't take the job because I already decided I'm going to leave the job. But it worked, guys, right? I got the job promotion. I didn't even have to apply for it. I attracted the job promotion because I became a different version of myself, right? And if you're working right now in a place, think about becoming a different version of yourself. Provide a better service. Stop complaining. Give your customers the best experience. Treat them really well. Be kind to the people. See what happens. And start dressing up differently in your workplace. See what happens. Do it with no expectation, right? With pure love. See what happens. So that's what happened. When I became a different version of myself, bang, I attracted the job promotion. I just wanted to test out if these things are working, right? It happened. And then when I went to the Toastmasters world, public speaking world, but I became a different version of myself. By then, I was still working as an Uber driver, but I went to the Toastmasters club dressed up with a suit on, nice hairstyle, right? And I was thinking like I'm already a coach. I was getting the certification by then. I'm already a coach. I treat people nicely. I help people with their issues. Then all of a sudden, the guy who run the club, he said, Sam, you are the best person to be the vice president. And he gave me, I was going to say, no, I'm not good enough to do this. No, I'm going to take it. I did a wonderful job. In that year, our club became the best club in the area. Then they said, oh, Sam, you got to go to the next level. You're going to become the area director. And again, I felt like, no, I don't need it. But I said, no, I'm going to take it anyway. I remember like I'm doing the meeting, I was doing this area director meeting, organizing a speech contest. I was the only brown guy, like brown guy. Oh, everyone else was like Australian guys, like amazing, beautiful guys, helpful. I was just leading these guys, like I could not believe that because I changed the version of myself. Because when you change the version of yourself, when you start to reprogram your story, you get into a high vibration. You are you're changing your frequency. When you change your frequency, you attract beautiful people in your life, opportunities, promotions, income opportunities. Unbelievable. People come from out of nowhere and then help you. I attracted my speaking coach, my English coach, right? Even now, I make a lot of mistakes when I speak English, probably you noticed. But when you're on a journey, when you decide this is where I'm going, magic happens, guys. Right? But you need to start with your internal story. If you got the wrong internal story, doesn't matter how hard you work, right? You might apply for 1,000 jobs, you're not gonna get the job. You might apply for hundreds of promotions, you're not gonna get it. You might do hard work in your business, so many things are not working, right? It's not about working harder, it's about taking action with the right frequency. You come into this right frequency when you change your internal story, guys. It's so powerful, right? So this is what you got to do right now. This is the lesson I learned from my mentor. If you want your change your results, you need to change your story. You got to start with your inside, right? Just like if you have apple tree, something wrong with the apple. Apples not are really good. They're looking really bad. You're not gonna fix the apple, do you? You're not gonna fix the apple. You're not gonna water the apple. You're gonna fix the root, right? You're gonna put the water into the root, maybe some fertilizers, then start to give you really good apple. But when it comes to life, people trying to water the apple, that's the problem. They're trying to put the plasters. You got to fix your problem. Its problem is your internal story, guys. Maybe you learned this concept from many other teachers. Some people say it's identity. Some people say it's self-image. Some people say internal story. Right? So this is what you got to do. You got to change this internal story. When you learn to change this internal story, your life change. You don't need to work for 20 years. You can have a massive change within 90 days, guys. In first 90 days of applying this information, I had a massive change in my life. Even now I am applying. Now I'm applying this in my health. If you're in my Facebook group, you probably see my post. I've been going to the gym 6 weeks straight. I've never done that in my life because I'm using this concept in my health area right now. Right? Because I'm creating a new story about my health journey. I'm a role model for my children. I'm a role model for my client. I'm vibrant. I'm fit. I'm healthy. Right? So I'm building this new script of myself relating to the health. I'm using this information over and over and over again. Right? So it doesn't matter where you are right now. Maybe you are earning million a year right now. If you want to earn $10 million a year, again, you need to change your story. You got to upgrade your internal story. If you're in a job, you need to get a job promotion. You just need to upgrade your internal story, not the qualifications. The qualifications are so important. If it is a requirement, you need it. But mainly, you need to start with your internal. You got to upgrade your internal story. If you want to become a great parent, same thing. You need to upgrade your internal story. Whatever you want to achieve in your life, right? If you've been single, you want to find your dream partner, change your internal story. Maybe you're thinking, I'm not worthy, I'm too old, I'm not looking good. You need to change that. When you change that, you change the vibration, you attract person from other side of the world. That's what happened to me. But I didn't have these tools by then, but I was doing it unconsciously. I did it somehow, right? So you got to change your internal story, guys. When you do that, magic happen. So now I'm going to give you a exercise. Because if you listen and understand, do nothing, nothing happen, guys. Right? It's for sure. If you do the same thing and over again and expecting the same result is kind of insanity. That's what I think Einstein said, right? If you want to get something you never had before, you got to do something different. You got to do something you never done before, right? I choose to do this stuff. At the beginning, I was like, what the hell he's talking about? I didn't really understand. But when I saw other people getting results, I thought, yeah, this went in my head like, oh, if you keep doing the same thing over and over again and don't get the results, you got to do something else. I thought I'd just give it a go. I had no other option. No one could help me. I went all in with this information, materials, step by step process that I got from my mentor. I started changing my story. Everything changed in my life, right? My confidence, income, influence, everything. The people that are attracting in my life. I even changed my country right now. Change is beautiful, guys, right? And this is what you're gonna do, right? So some of my clients got incredible results. Varshita, you probably, if you're on the Facebook group, she's thriving in her job right now, right? She's thriving in her job and she started her dream business as a coach. And she never thought she can make social media videos, like make videos on social media. After 2 weeks of working with me, now she's expressing herself. She's like 10 times more confident right after doing this exercise. And some of my client business owners, they double their income in 3 months. Too good to be true, right? Sounds like a scam, but when you change the scam, magic happens, right? So this exercise is so important. Don't take it seriously. Like I said, you are here for a reason. You don't know why you're here. Everything happened for a reason. You didn't choose your parent, you didn't choose your children, you didn't choose where you were born, right? Someone trying to call me, sorry. Everything happened for a reason, right? Uh, I just have to cut this guy. Sorry, I'm sorry. Uh, Everything happened for a reason. And you are here listening to this webinar for a reason. This could be your life-changing webinar if you do this exercise. But if you just hear this one and go away, do nothing, there's a big chance you get the same results over and over again, right? Doing the same thing over and over again, thinking you need to fix the external things, right? Maybe if you said you want to improve confidence, maybe you think if I want to be more confident, I need to buy a fancy car. But the moment you park the car and walk into the building, you lose the confidence, right? Some people buy qualifications. People don't see your qualification, right? If you go to a job interview, this is one thing I learned. It's not about the qualification. It's about your vibration. The person on the other side, they're reading your vibration, right? If you have a negative story, your vibration is low. If you have a positive story about yourself, even though you have low qualifications, you're in the right vibration. The other person understand on a subconscious level, oh, this is the right person for me, right? You match in the vibration, get the job. But gathering qualification, it can cost time, it can cost a lot of money to get a degree or master degree, but it's not going to work, guys. You just need to change your internal story, right? So the exercise is here. The exercise is you need to have a goal. I don't know what's your goal. You know you have a goal right now, right? You need to start creating the movie of your life, right? A lot of the people, they're extras in their own movie. They're supporting characters. No, you gotta be the director and you gotta be the main character of your movie, right? So what's the movie director doing? Writing the script for the movie. Then the people just read the script and they become the actors, right? Let's think about the Titanic movie. James Cameron, he wrote the script for this Titanic movie. Then Leonardo DiCaprio, he was reading the script, acting the script, and became Jack. Everybody knew him as Jack, not like Leonardo DiCaprio, right? Because he was becoming the Jack. You got to do the same thing. You need to have the goal, then you need to become the captain of your own ship, director of your own movie. Don't let anybody play that button, right? Write who you need to become. You have a goal right now, and who you need to become to achieve this goal in present tense, right? You have a goal. I don't know what it is. Maybe you want to find a job. Maybe you want to get a job promotion and start a dream business. Or you want to build $1 million business. I don't know what's your goal. You know your goal. Write down your goal first in present tense. And then write down who do you need to become to achieve this goal in present tense. Right? For example, when I had to become a coach, from an Uber driver, I had to become a different version of myself. I had to start with this script. I had to write down in present tense. I'm so happy and grateful now that I'm a world-class coach. Right? Think big. I am showing up. I'm inspiring people on social media. I'm going to stages, sharing these materials, right? I'm traveling the world. Most of the thing happened. Some of the thing didn't happen, right? I wrote down I'm speaking in front of 10,000 people. Didn't happen yet, but I know it's going to happen. Don't know how. Write down who you need to become, right? It's not about what you're going to get. It's all about who you become, right? I went to a funeral yesterday. I had to go to a funeral yesterday. And all they were talking about who he was becoming, talking good about this person. No one talk about what he got, about his car, about house or anything like that, about what he did, what a wonderful person he was, right? Nobody will talk about what you achieved when you die. They will talk about what you did, who you became, what a wonderful dad you were, or mother you were, child you were, something like that, right? So write down who you need to become to get that job, if it is to get that job, to get that promotion, start your dream business, right? So I had to write down the script. Then what you got to do when you write down the script, it might take three papers, three A4 sheet, 4 or 5. Some people, I encourage you to start with the 1 page, right? Because if you're trying to do too much, it's not going to work. When I work with my client, we do this exercise for like 6 weeks because it's a bit of a process. But I want to give this away for free right now. I want you to write down your goal and then write down who do I need to become to achieve this goal in present tense. Right? Then every morning you need to read it. And then you need to visualize you're already this person. You're already this person. Right? Read it, visualize it. You need to visualize because when you visualize, your brain doesn't know what's visualized or what's real. Right? Your brain get confused. You need to confuse your brain. Like if I get a lemon and if I say close your eyes, I'm gonna squeeze this lemon into your mouth. If you visualize it right, you're gonna get saliva in your mouth, right? And if I ask you to visualize your favorite meal when you are hungry, guess what happened, right? Because your body is getting to eat that lemon or your favorite meal. Same here, when you visualize about your goal, the person you need to become, your body is getting ready to, every cell of your body is getting ready to become this person. All right, it's been tested. There are people done brain scans. Maybe you have heard about this concept from many other people. Power of visualization, right? Everything. This phone, someone had it in their mind before they made it, right? Everything. They had it in your imagination. Same, your goal is on the quantum field. It's not visible right now. You just need to use your visualization muscle, right? You start visualizing you're already this person, right? See, like if you want to get a job promotions, you just imagine you're getting to the work with your new outfit. You are leading the teams, you're leading the presentations, you're getting recognized. This beautiful story you want to have, right? Who you want to become, the way you walk into the office, right? You start doing these things. You need to visualize. First, you need to write down who you need to become. Then you need to visualize that you are already becoming this person, right? When you do that, you're coming into a certain state. And when you apply for the job promotion, you need to come into that state and apply for the job promotion. Inspired action, not desperate action, right? You can apply to 1,000 jobs with desperation, you're not going to get a job. But you can apply for one job with real inspiration, with the right frequency, you're going to get that job, right? And so this is the important. When you visualize about the person you need to become, you visualizing you're already this person, guess what? You're changing your frequency. And throughout the day, you need to take actions. Visualizing is not enough. Writing the script is not enough. Then you need to take action. As you're already this person, right? You need to believe that you're already with this person. Right? When I became a coach, I remember when I had to make videos, I came into this state and making videos. Then people are like, oh, Sam, lovely video. And people who knew me before, they thought I'm crazy. But some people send me, wow, love your video. This totally changed my life. Because I did it with the right frequency, guys, right? Same with you. If you want to achieve your goal, you need to take action with this right mindset, right frequency, right? Then magic happen. Then you get the job, then you get the promotion, then you get start your dream business, then you move into the action. So that's the beauty of changing your internal story. So you need to change. This is the process. It doesn't happen overnight. For some people, it happened a very short period of time. Some of my clients, like they change. Like for example, Varshita, she made her first video within 2 weeks. For me, it took more than a month, right? For some people, they're doubling their income. Like one of my clients double income in 90 days, 3 months. But some, it doesn't happen for everyone. It depending on like how long your old story been there, how old you are, different factors, right? But when you have tools, everything is possible, guys, right? So this is the mind, picture of the mind that I learned from my Bob Proctor. You have conscious mind, you have subconscious mind, your old stories in your subconscious mind. Now you're creating a new story, right, with the script. And you need to use your mental muscle imagination that think that you're already this person. At some point, it goes in your subconscious mind. You don't know how long it will take, right? But if you have these tools, it can go in a very short period of time. But when it goes into the subconscious level, when you start to believe I'm a new version of myself, then your vibration change. You move into different actions, get different results, right? So that's the process. So you need to write down the script. You need to visualize you already this person. Then you need to act like this person every single day. Of course, if you want a job promotion, you need to apply for job promotion. If you need to get more skills, you need to go out there and get the skills. If you don't have a job, you need to get the resume right, start applying for jobs, getting the qualifications right. You will move into this action effortlessly. But if you're trying to move into those action with desperation, trying to apply for jobs with desperation, it's not going to happen, guys, okay? Like I remember I was trying to find a dream partner for 10 years with desperation. I was on all the dating sites, I was messaging people, I was going to nightclubs like 3 times a week. I was doing all the things. I bought a BMW, became a DJ, thinking that it will help me. None of them mattered, right? When I start becoming a different version of myself, it happened like crazy in a very short period of time. I found my dream partner on the other side of the world. I was living in Australia in a town called Coober Pedy. Maybe you heard about it if you're living in Australia. It's a, like desert. People live underground there, like 50 degrees in the summer. My partner, my wife, she was living in Norway. It's like it can be 50 minus degrees. Last year it went minus 37 where I was living, right? Now I'm actually living in Norway, right? It all happened when I started to become a different version of myself. I started to believe I'm a worthy person. I started going to the gym. I stopped drinking. I stopped talking with other ladies. Like I started becoming a different version of myself. Then everything happened. I found the person, got engaged, got married, have our first child, bought our first home within 1 year, guys. Right? It takes usually 5 years for people to do it, but for me, everything happened within 1 year because I started becoming a different version of myself. I changed vibration, everything changed. My habits, everything changed from that. I used to be a very different person, drinking 4 times a week, going out night clubbing, eating unhealthy food, gossiping with people, but not, I became a different version of myself, right? Over the period of time. That's another story, but don't have enough time to tell the stories, guys. Telling stories to tell you how powerful is information, right? So this is it. And if you've been here so long, I promised you that I gave an incredible opportunity, right? The opportunity is that I give opportunity to book a call with me, right? In this session, and if you know Varshita, probably some of you came through Varshita. Book a call with Varshita, right? You've been talking with her, you saw her transformation. Book a call with her, right? And we just have a conversation, right? It's not about sales pitch or anything. Of course, at the end, like on this conversation, what you're gonna do, I really want to find out what is your goal. Tell me the truth. Because if you go to a doctor, like if you have a problem with your belly, if you tell you have a headache, you get different treatment. In the past, I had conversation. They actually want to find their dream partner, but they're a bit shy to tell me about it because I'm not telling with anyone. I'm very professional. It's my work ethic. I would never mention your name. I might tell about your situation, but I wouldn't tell your name. So in this session, you get 45-minute session, 30 to 45-minute session. We have a beautiful conversation. I want to find out about your goal. I need to find out where you are right now and where you want to go. And I can help you with this exercise. If I know your goal, I can give you exact direction where you want, what you have to do, right? Because I gave a general description right now, but if I know what's your goal, I can give you some, personalized tips. This is what you got to do, right? So what you got to do, I will drop the link here right now, my link. You can book a call with me. And if you know Varshita, you can also book a call with Varshita, right? In this call, what you're gonna do, that's what we're gonna do. I want to find out about your goal, find out where you are right now, where you wanna go. Because when I have a conversation with you, when I can pick up your problem like boom. Within 15 minutes, I can detect what's going on in your head, right? Then I can tell you, okay, this is what you gotta do, right? Then it's up to you, you can do it or not. But it's not gonna cost you anything, it's 100% free. Just jump in. I love to get to know about your goal. I love to give you some tips. And at the end of the call, right, of course, I have a beautiful program like I got from my mentor, 12-step process to achieve any goal. I've been using this for last 10 years. I have not 10 years, last 3 years. And I have helped many clients to achieve their goals. I don't know if it is something for you or not. At the moment, I haven't got anything to sell until I find out that I can help. If I believe I can help you, I'll tell you, oh, why don't you join my program? Then I will never force you. It's up to you, right? Your life is your decision, right? So make a decision to book a call right now. So I will just drop the link. Let me find out the copy link. All right, guys, on the chat box, I dropped the link. Book a strategy call with me. In that session, we just have a conversation, right? So friendly conversation. And if I believe I can really help you, I will tell you, hey, I got this process. I can help you. Let's get in the program. Then it's your decision. I never force people. I want to attract people, right people into my coaching. Uh, I used to try to, like force people to come on. You have to do this. I have the best. I was chasing my friends. Some of friends doesn't even talk to me now, right? Because you can't change people by force. You cannot do it. You can only guide them. Bob Proctor didn't change my life. Actually, I changed my life myself. I didn't change Varshita's life. She did it for herself, but I guided her, right? So that's what happened in this conversation. Like, I will offer you, this is my program. I don't even know if it is something for you. Sometimes when you have conversation, I understand, oh, this is not something I can do. You need a psychologist, you need some other person to help you, a doctor to help you, right? Then I say, sorry, I can't help you, but I might recommend someone. I might not, depending on your situation. But if I really can help you, if it is something I've done in my life, I can help you, right? I can help you. I tell you this is the program, this is how it works. Then it's your decision to, okay, let's do it, Sam, or I don't want to do it, right? That's your decision. So this is a very friendly call. It's not a sales pitch like trying to sell you something. You need to buy this. You have to do this. It doesn't work in this industry, guys, right? You don't change people by posts. I was trying to change when I got this in my hand, I was trying to change my friends. Only two friends became my clients, actually, right? I was reaching out to hundreds of friends because they don't understand, they don't have the awareness, they're thinking, what the bullshit is this? But if you are here listening to this, you might understand something, otherwise you wouldn't be listening, right? But again, you need to decide. There are millions of coaches in the world. I might be the one, I might not be the one, right? So let's have that conversation, guys. And thank you so much. I really want to appreciate you coming in, showing up, and I really want to add more value in this call. Come on this call, and I can give you more information on how to apply this exercise in your life, right? So book the call right now. And if you know Varshita, if you came through Varshita, just talk to her. She loves this information. She's breathing this information. And yeah, and if you didn't join the Facebook group, make sure you join our Facebook group as well. Have a fantastic weekend. I hope you have the best weekend ever. Thank you.